If I assume it, am I now living for it to happen? No. Because living by the assumption is not waiting until the scene arrives. It's not I am now holding my breath for it. It's not I am now living my day around whether reality confirms it. That is not an assumption. That is just waiting. An assumption is this, right? I am that I am, no matter what happens or doesn't happen. And then you live as that self now, the self that knows you are the self, living as the self. Even if or since there is zero indication of it out there. And this is Rewrite Your Reality with Reese. I am your host. And I'm just going to go through a very cool question that a person presented and some of my answer, but I'm going to expand on it. And it's involving a specific person, and apparently maybe third parties in this involved. It's a comment somewhere or other. And it goes, I know these things because we do know these things. And as you remember, you are rewriting, rather you are re-choosing a version of yourself that always knew these things. So even if the scene is the same, similar rather, you experience it differently. You experience from a knowing that, hey, I am that version of myself that always knew this. So this scene doesn't even make sense to me anymore. That me that I'm pretending to be in this moment, who doesn't know how reality works, doesn't know anything. I'm pretending to be this version that I'm remembering, but I'm no longer that version. I don't need to pretend. I don't need to pretend that I'm pretending to be this version of myself that's ignorant of who I am. I know who I am, so I get to choose that, yeah, I've always been this version of myself that got what I wanted because I know I am what I want. So when there's a third party involved, the idea that it's not always easy to react internally or not react internally, and you start asking whether you call this stuff in, it doesn't matter. Remember, a reaction is just how you typically go about feeling whatever happens. It doesn't matter. Your reaction to your reaction is also another reaction that simultaneously exists. And you compound the idea by thinking that, well, I reacted in a certain way, now I'm reacting to that reaction in a certain way, and I'm not reacting how I would like to react. But all of that is you literally not reacting how you would just like to react here and now. And how would you like to react to it? I would like to know that and treat this as exactly what it is, which is irrelevant. But you can do that now. You don't have to wait until the next time you come across that thing to know and choose your reaction of it. So if you do feel that reaction again, you know that it doesn't actually matter immediately. Because it doesn't matter. You're only choosing what is right now. You don't have to wait for it to pop up for you to choose it now. In fact, that's what implies the choice. Because you're choosing it whether it's coming up or not, whether you think it comes up or not. I am who I say I am. And this was a really cool part of the question because it's really where I honed in on it. I was in love with a rock star from a completely different country, and somehow I knew things about his childhood before he publicly confirmed them later. So it doesn't really matter to me in this question. It shows me that it doesn't matter who the specific person is. It can be someone who doesn't know us, and the reality where we are with them still exists. So we just embody that version. Maybe you can explain it in one of your videos, this one. Now, it's not necessarily that you knew something about this person's backstory, this person's life that they have lived. Why? Every physical presented version that you are seeing in every single moment, including yourself, is one reality. It's comprised of a singular reality of the now moment. But when we think singular, we think, well, sole backstory of this person. But a person doesn't have a singular backstory. They have an infinite presentation of themselves. Every single person has that presentation. Every single person has the infinity one with them, because infinity is one with everything, and it is everything simultaneously. So my physically presented visage, I have infinite backstories. They all exist now. I have infinite future stories. They all exist now. I have infinite now moments, which is all of that right now, because as we are experiencing our own awareness, the most immediate past presentation, it's just always changing because everything's changing. So it's always changing into more of what just exists. So a physically focused version of you, the experience of knowing that specific physically focused version of them and their childhood, their upbringing, their life, points in time that they experienced physically. You did not create that person's backstory. I'm not saying that this person believes that, nor is it an indication of anything. Why? Because in the moment, from your point of view, you shifted into the version of yourself who already knew another versions of themselves experiencing of whatever it looks like in the moment. So you basically just shifted to a version of you who knew their backstory. All things exist. So you could shift to a version of yourself who knows any backstory about anybody, because it must always exist right here and right now. It's only whether or not you believe in that backstory, believe in that idea, believe in that version of you who knows that is where it matters. So unconsciously, we shift into this knowing. And this is where this whole idea of, things like, oh, that person is psychic, or I think I'm psychic because I foretold something. No, you didn't foretell something. You tapped into the potential that you are highlighting the most, which is, I love this person. I feel kinship with this person. I know this person. And reality rearranged itself for you to physically know things about this person, indicating and validating how you feel. But it's only an experience, because you as awareness, you know everything about that physically focused person that ever could be. You know everything about yourself that ever could be. You are unconscious of most of it. It's unseen for the most part. But what you are seeing, what you are knowing, is reality. That rock star person, that famous person, that whomever, the third party person, they don't create in your reality. They don't create reality at all, but to a certain degree, right? Because everything is creative, everything is source, so it must always have the innate power of being source. But you are source conscious of being itself. Nothing else besides consciousness, that's knowing itself as consciousness, can consciously create. Everything else is unconscious. If you see things in your physically focused reality, that is consciousness being that, but you are the entirety of consciousness, consciously aware of being itself. So when you have an experience with a third party, that feeling is one, you feeling a version of reality that isn't your choice, and two, you knowing that you don't have to actually do anything with this because it's not your reality. It's not doing anything. It's not happening to you. There isn't a person being in a relationship happening to you. It's happening as you, as reality. And the wondering why it comes up, as the question said, it doesn't matter. It just exists. It just exists. Existence just exists. When we really land on that idea, not to belittle it, but it does take the edge off everything. Existence just exists. Whatever you prefer or don't prefer. If you don't prefer something, it just exists. But your preference also exists because you are just existence itself. You're reacting as existence itself. So even if you react in a certain way, that's just existence itself reacting to itself in that way. It already existed. So from his point of view, he does have all the power as awareness, but that's his focused viewpoint of reality. It's always changing. Versions of him that veer off into no longer being a rock star, being something else, or maybe even being greater, maybe being the greatest version of himself. And all of that just exists right now, and it's that point of consciousness's choice to experience it from his point of view. It's got nothing to do with your point of view. That's where it gets a little confusing. How can a person have complete free will within my experiencing of reality? Because within your experience of reality, you are experiencing what that version that aligns with you's free will has to do with you or doesn't. it's always your choice of what you want to experience, of who you are, because it already exists that way. You couldn't contemplate the idea if it did not. So again, it's not that you knew his backstory. You shifted to the reality where that was his backstory, and not only that, your backstory was knowing it. Because you are unlimited. Why would there be a limit? You obviously knew things about this person. You may have felt that in the awareness of a past that you may have lived, where it's like, oh, I really like this person, but I feel like there's something going on with someone else. That's just the creative, unconscious act of seeing a reality you don't prefer. It doesn't mean it wasn't unfolding for you to see that relationship. It means that even if it did unfold, it didn't matter. But we make it matter, so we make it continue. Make it continue in the sense that you keep focusing on this version, not actually moving to the version you desire to be. So you didn't create his past, you created the experience of it. Because the images of his past, the images of your past, the images of now, the images of the present, the images of the future, they don't exist in an objective way. They are subjective, blank frames of existence, all connected to one another. And you are living one of those lives, connected in a certain way that you desire it to be connected, because all frames, all film rolls, all scripts of reality are written. So it's not necessarily leaving out a certain path. It's accounted for in every script. Every script has the same center point that connects to every other center point from every single point. So while there are infinite scripts, none of them are not connected at every single point. So it's like one gigantic script of I am, being everything, and you navigate your way by who and what you want to be conscious in every single moment, or don't want to be conscious of in every single moment. Because you are filtering it out. The entire experience is subjective from your point of view. It just exists. So you can react to circumstances however you like. Just return to the knowing that they do not matter. That no matter what's going on with any one person in your physically focused viewpoint of reality in the now moment, they don't create in your reality, because that physically focused version is happening in your awareness. They have their own awareness, but their awareness is not in your awareness. Their awareness is your awareness. Their awareness is your awareness. Okay. Your physically focused self is not manifesting jack, doing nothing. So another person's physically focused self, they're not manifesting anything either. No one's is. They are manifestations of power as that presented in the unified viewpoint of everyone in that unified moment. But there are infinite unified moments concurrently happening right now in awareness. So when you see a physically focused version of somebody in that moment, awareness is being that physically focused version. Your awareness is being you. Awareness is not in the 3D physically focused world. It is the 3D physically focused world. So your awareness and my awareness and their awareness is the same awareness being reality, but it is being all of reality simultaneously. So while they are physically presented in and as awareness, they have no power in and as awareness. Only you do, because you have a physically focused viewpoint as awareness. So when you move that as awareness into what you as it want to be, that's what your reality is. Because awareness is already being that frame, as you know, because when you're imagining, what else is being that but you? Not your your physically focused self isn't being your imaginal scene. You aren't being the building physically as your physically focused self. You aren't being the ocean if you are at the beach. NevilleGoddard's I am in Barbados imaginal scene where he's on the boat, feeling the boat go up and down, walking around and feeling the sand in his toes and all of those things. You're not, your physically focused self is not being the beach or the boat or the rocking. It's feeling it. So what's being the boat, the sand, the air, the sky, the universe, that's happening your true self. Your true self is being it. So you are being everything. And everything that builds as that identity, that is that identity, is that same awareness, not happening in. So when you see a person, their awareness is not in your awareness. When you see another person, you wonder why their point of view doesn't matter. It's because you keep thinking that that physically focused person has an awareness within your awareness, but it's the exact same awareness, not in, as it. And they are veering off from their point of view to every other point of view simultaneously, but so are you. And the only thing that matters is your point of view of that veering off into infinity as infinity, but not actually going anywhere, just changing its viewpoint. You are reality. It's already done in awareness because you saw it being done in awareness. Because it is who you decided to be as reality. Remember, you don't create something in your awareness. You are already experiencing what was created as awareness, and now you are being it as awareness by filtering out everything else that you don't want to be aware of. Simultaneously experiencing more of yourself by being less of yourself. That's actually what we're doing. As an infinite construct, an infinite being, you have made yourself, this is a very reverse paradox kind of idea. You are everything as awareness. But in order to know yourself as that awareness, you have to forget everything you are as that awareness, which is infinity forgetting the entirety of itself. So all of creation, gone. Well, not really gone, but just kind of forgot it, right? And then you are now to be aware of yourself as that infinity. You simultaneously are knowing that you can be aware of everything and anything. At any given moment, you can literally be aware of anything. That is your indication and knowing that you are actually one with that infinity. And while you know that you are one with that infinity, you are actually filtering out the rest of infinity so you can experience a small subjective version of that infinity to know yourself as that infinity in that in that singular life that you desire to live, which is your dream life that you are referring to now in this moment. So it's like having it all, knowing you are all of it, filtering out most of it to have this part, which is a representation of what you are now choosing to be aware of. So you're using a subjective experience to know yourself as the infinite experience because that's just how we're doing. And this is the closing off here. Your dream life. You are your dream life. Like you are it. Like literally. The entirety of it, you are your dream life. You're not just you don't just have a dream life. Your physically focused self has a dream life, as in it has a path that it innately just wants to follow, which is what you are referring to as your dream life. Like you have a certain set of experiences that you are aware of. You know that there are more experiences that you are unaware of, and you want to experience them. But from a higher point of view, your point of view, the true point of view, which is I am, you are it. You are your dream life. So it's you as life in that way, experiencing yourself in that way, because as you contemplate it, you are being it. And what you are being, you are experiencing. Even if it's experiencing what you don't prefer in the moment, it's only because you know what you do prefer now. Otherwise, you wouldn't have noticed what you don't prefer. You have to have some context for it to actually come up in that way. So thank you for the question. I am Reese, the Sri at your reality with Reese. So it doesn't really matter what's going on. It'll never matter what's going on. Even if you think it matters in the moment, even that doesn't matter. Thank you for the question. Thank you for subscribing. Thank you for joining. Thank you for commenting. Thank you for the emails. Thank you for joining the TikTok page. Thank you for joining the Facebook page. And I will see you guys all in the next one.